Hi, everyone. Welcome to Menopause Chats. I'm Erin Daruska. Excited to have my friend Erin with us today, and we are going to talk about her journey. So, thank you, Erin, for being here. Where are you on your journey here?
Gosh, it's such a loaded question, right? It's so interesting because, hi everyone, I'm Erin, and I thought I was further along than I think that I am. I think I thought I was closer to like full menopause, but I'm in perimenopause right now, and I have been for a couple of years, and I've been this side of 50 has been very tough for me, to be honest with you. I did not, although we all know it's coming, I did not know what that meant. And like we just, we don't, thank God people are starting to talk about it more, and I'm constantly telling most of my friends happen to be quite a bit younger than me. So they do not understand it. And whenever I say just enjoy your 40s, they just like roll their eyes and I'm like, you don't understand,
In
and
a good way, they can watch a bunch of videos and go, "Oh, okay, now I know what to look forward to."
they just all think that I'm being negative. And I'm like, no, I'm being realistic, right? And so I think
You're like,
it's hit
nobody's telling you this. I'm telling you the truth.
trying to tell you the truth and just appreciate it, right? Because it started probably just right around when I turned 50, actually. Um, the first thing and I'm going to talk just real here,
Yeah, please.
but the first thing that I noticed was the weight gain, right? The belly fat gain, the belly weight fat gain, which is a real problem, right? We all sort of that's the biggest complaint that I hear from my friends. I have not had nearly as much struggle with um, hot flashes, but it's getting worse. So I think I thought I was further along in the journey. I hit about 10 months without a cycle and then just recently had two cycles. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not as far along as I think I am.
Yeah.
Um, but I have gone on estrogen and progesterone. So I feel like if I am not as far along as I think I am, hopefully these things will help in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least will help with symptoms and things because, like, a lot of the stuff that happens is because of a drop in estrogen, right? Like, it's like the
Mhm.
hormones drop, and then you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, and I don't know if I mean, I've shared it other times, but like my story was like, I thought I was perimenopausal to find out I was postmenopausal. So I was like, oh, and all of these things that were wrong with me. Oh, now I understand.
I
So,
had no idea what see, I'm having a problem with
right.
the
No, that happens to
foggy brain,
me. Yeah.
like the brain fog. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know what that is. Now I'm like, oh my God, that's what it is.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
can't remember anything.
Oh, yeah. And I had that happen the other day. I was like talking to my husband. I was like literally mid sentence and I was like, yep, I don't know. And he's
I
like,
can't finish sentences. I can't say the word table. Like I just,
yeah,
it's constant.
yeah, yeah.
And I think the other thing that we forget is that there are a lot, when we think about menopause, we think about things like the belly fat gain, right? The hot flashes,
Yep.
the lack of sleep, the brain fog. Those are the big ones that we hear about. But there is a litany of
Oh my God.
others
Yeah.
that we just don't even connect
Yeah.
to, what that is. And I don't even know what they are, but it's just so
But
interesting.
there's a lot of things, like even weird things like vertigo,
Oh, wow.
like, so there's like just these little things that all could be like, oh, maybe like, here's what I think. It's like, oh, if something's happening, could this be related to menopause? Maybe,
Yeah, exactly. And so then you look it up.
Yeah.
The other one that might be a sensitive topic, but the other one that is definitely been impacting me is the painful sex.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been excruciating. And I used to see the commercials for it. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, after whatever," and I'm like, "Whatever. What does that mean?" And I didn't realize. And I remember I was talking to my husband about it, and this was probably about a year ago, and I was like, "Why is this?" And he was like, "Because," and he like rattled off the answer, and I was like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, I said, "Have you been doing research?" And he's like, "Yeah, you told me the other day that you would think that you thought you were going into menopause. So I went and did research on it because that's what he does because he's
That's
amazing."
awesome.
And
And I want to acknowledge like how cool that you could have that conversation openly about like because I think sometimes there's a lot of shame around oh like this is painful so like people just don't talk about it and then it creates distance and then that causes other problems and so kudos to the two of you for having open conversations and then kudos to him for being like I'm going to look this up and see what's going on with my wife.
I know, right? And I wasn't even talking about that when I brought up menopause, and he just was doing all the research. And so like, and he's very sensitive to that, right? And like I've definitely had, we haven't, the irritability comes up every now and again, but it has not been a huge
Yeah.
factor. But there have been times where, we something might come up and then we sort of get like this and then we just laugh about it, right? So we're able to, like, to your point, the fact that we can talk about it and the fact that he has done the research and knows that this is real stuff. So,
Right. Because I
uh,
think it's easy to be dismissive, right? To be like, oh, our experiences aren't real, or like, oh, you're making it up. And especially when it's not something that's like seen, right?
hmm
And
hmm
so, and I think the one thing that's helped me a lot is I get a compounded estrogen and testosterone cream.
mm.
And that has helped with like the pain and stuff because because it's topical and it's in, it changes the pH and the all the fun stuff down there. It rejuvenates it. Is that a good word? Probably.
Yes, I have an estrogen
The
thing.
estrogen, I started with just estrogen and it didn't do anything for me. And then for the pain piece of it, and when she moved me over to the estrogen and testosterone combination, completely, completely did help. So always,
Thank you for saying that, so that if this doesn't work,
yeah,
right? Because this is
yeah,
new.
there's other things. I mean, I
Um,
have to go get it, I'd have to go to a compounding pharmacy and, all that fun stuff, but, it's still, it still works. So, and to me, it's like, well, if it works, then that's good.
yeah, it has been interesting. I am going to a specialist, like I'm
Yeah.
paying a lot of
Yeah.
money out of pocket.
Yep.
Um, and I think what happened was, when this all first started early on and people were like, oh yeah, you just go on estrogen and whatever. And then when it actually became a reality, I was like, oh, what do you do? And you go to your gynecologist, right? And you go to your Western doctors and they're like, oh, just here's the estrogen patch. And you're like, what? Like nothing. Well, there's no reason to take tests because like your
Yeah.
hormones change all the time, so you can't really test and blah 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 blah. You go to this specialist who, in my case, is a naturopath, like endocrinologist, essentially, a functional endocrinologist. So they have the medical background. And so I was asking her about all this stuff, and she's like, it all comes down to money. Like they don't want to. And so it has been interesting because I did do a ton of testing and then she gave me stuff. And then I went back in after and it was like, oh, maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe we need to do more. So like detailed testing, like really, and really thinking about things differently than the Western doctors.
Yeah.
That being said, when I go back and like talk to my MD, my endocrinologist MD. Like there's definitely like differences in opinion in certain things. And she's like, well, did she tell you? So it's like I'm weighing the two things.
Sure.
That being said, I also feel like although it is a lot of money, I appreciate going to the specialists because there are a lot of other detailed things, but also because of all the testing, they're giving me specific amounts rather than just giving me a patch and
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
"Take the
Yeah.
patch." I was very nervous and scared because I have this thing called like factor five or something that makes like a stroke incidence more high. So estrogen also is a problem in that sense. So I was very concerned. And so she did the research and was like, it's not a problem if you do this much, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
whereas,
And are you
so
doing transdermal or are you doing like a pill?
I'm doing progesterone pills at night and I'm doing estrogen cream on the
Okay.
thigh on at night. And then I'm also doing the vaginal estradiol
Yeah.
at night too.
Yeah.
So
And I have like a patch. And so that's what, so I have just a little patch that I wear. And then because I still have my IUD, because they're like, just keep it in. Like, even though I don't need it, they're like, it has progesterone. So they're like, just keep it until it expires.
So for me, it was really interesting. I had an IUD when this whole thing started, and my specialist said, you need to take it out because I need to understand if you're going to work with me and I'm
Gotcha.
going to give you,
Yeah.
I need to understand what your baseline is. And
Oh,
if you
okay.
have an IUD and I don't know what your true numbers are.
Interesting.
So I actually took it out,
Yeah.
which also like wasn't a problem.
Right.
Um, And
Well,
so that's
apparently my numbers were so low that there was no question. She was sort of like, you're good, So she's like, just keep it in. You can keep it in. So that's why I don't take a progesterone because I have
you
that
have it.
coming in.
Mhm.
But yeah, and it's, and I'm still on like, I think I'm on like one of the lowest doses. And I think that's still, like it's still working from my perspective. So I'm like, I'm not getting hot flashes or anything like that. So, I mean, the brain fog is there occasionally, but sometimes I'm like, is this just aging? Is this like, I don't know.
Well, and it could be, right?
Yeah.
And for me, the biggest ones, like I said, were the belly fat
Yeah.
and the hot flashes started getting more and more. And also, um, what's really interesting is I have an identical twin sister,
Yeah, I
and
know. Yeah.
she, so we've been sort of going through this together,
Yeah.
right?
And
But what
our
I've noticed,
experience is different.
well, what I noticed was earlier on in the process, um, she was having trouble sleeping, like up for 2 hours a night. Like we were both dealing with belly fat. She was dealing more with the sleeping and more with like a lot of more problem with hot flashes. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like I definitely have hot flashes, but not to the
Mhm.
extent. And I was like, ooh, maybe I got around that. Well,
Yeah.
it turns out she's just much further along. She is in menopause and has been probably for a year. And clearly, the fact that I had just had a period, I am not. And the sleeping issues and the hot flashes have increased incrementally
Mhm.
recently.
Okay.
That being said, when I finally went on the estrogen, because I've been on progesterone for a little while longer. I've been on
Mhm.
progesterone for about 8 months. I've been on estrogen probably for about 2 or 3.
Okay.
Since the estrogen, the sleep, it really helped my sleep.
And that's
And
like a baseline thing. Like, I think of like Maslow's hierarchy, right? Like if you don't have the sleep, like nothing else in your health is like good, right? So and so there's that, right? Like so if your sleep if the hormones are causing your sleep to be off, or because for me it was like I was getting night sweats and stuff like it. So I was hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold. And so if the sleep's off, then everything else kind of just gets off too. So
yeah, oh my God, I was miserable. I had just started a brand new job. I was like, oh my God, I'm not sleeping. And like I told you, most of my friends are quite a bit younger than me. They don't understand it. So
right.
they're hearing me, but they're like, sorry.
Yeah.
But they don't
And
know,
then
right?
someday they're going to be like, oh, I remember Erin telling me about
They are
this.
going to know
He tried to
exactly what
warn
I'm
me.
talking about. Exactly. So it's definitely helped. So we'll see. I'm sticking with this specialist for a while, just to kind of check it out. Another thing I have started to do is I've started working with a personal trainer for weight training,
Mhm. Yeah.
which I've always been resistant to. And of course, we all hear you get to a certain age and lifting heavy weights and
Yeah.
much, much larger amounts of protein is so critical. So I'm really understanding that and trying to include those two things as well. So
I'm curious on the belly fat for you. So for me, like I've always had belly fat. So so I don't I mean I had gained weight during the pandemic anyway, which was mostly because I was drinking more wine. And so I had like I was not correlating it to perimenopause or anything. It was a completely lifestyle factor, not working out, drinking a lot of wine, eating a lot of junk food. Now, and even since I've lost weight, I'm back sort of my baseline
Mhm.
of what my I've always had a little tummy. That's just how my body has always been. It will always be. I've named it. We're good. Did you not have that before? Like, so I'm just curious for you, like what your experience was, because people's bodies are different. So like I could
People's
see them
bodies are
being a
different.
bigger,
Yeah.
like a bigger deal for someone who is, maybe had a flat stomach their whole life and then they're like, what the hell's this?
Yeah. And I've never like had a perfect stomach, right? But like my waist has always been my smallest part. I tend to gain weight in my butt and my hips.
Mhm.
And you could tell it wasn't about the food and eating differently because it's like overnight, all of a sudden you have
Gotcha.
this and it's impossible to lose, right? Interestingly enough, again, my twin sister and I have extremely different bodies, and they're becoming more and more different the older we get.
No.
They didn't used to be different. Like, I am like curviliacious. Um, my boobs increased another size. So I'm like F now. That's like 4D, which is so hard. It's been really hard. I'm getting even more curvier. And then, but then in addition to all the other places that I had, I also have this belly that just doesn't go away. And the reason why I could tell it wasn't just,
Sure.
oh, like you were eating differently or drinking differently is because it literally is just like it shows up and you're
Yeah.
like, WTF.
Yeah.
My sister, who has always been more slender, but sort of gained in the belly,
Mm.
has gained quite a bit in the belly. And so, although I think she looks much better in clothes, she definitely feels it. It's really, really, really hard, right? It's
And that's
really
like
hard.
a self-esteem thing. Like, that it's like a shift too. It's like, oh, what happened to the body I had? And like this whole, I mean, both of us have, I know you through the coaching community, right? So it's like we have this, it's like we know the things that we're supposed to think and like what you would tell somebody else, but what you tell yourself is a different thing, right? Like, oh, like, well, just love the body you're in. It's like, well, it's easier said than done when you've lived in a body that it wasn't like this before, right? So,
Well, I actually think I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I actually do think I might have like a little bit of body dysmorphia in the sense that I've never been happy with my body, even though I look back at pictures and I'm like, oh my God, I was so skinny.
and I
And at
think
the
that is a
time,
very typical, like, I mean, female experience,
yeah,
especially like in Western societies where we put so much emphasis on how women look in their bodies and, and
yeah.
the images that were shown in the media of like that aren't mostly, especially now, real, like literally not real now. That's such a difference. But so I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, no, it's just totally, I agree with you, right? I say that knowing that it's a very common thing. And I was like, and so this makes it even harder, right? And it's like, oh my God, it's just going to get worse from here. Like, it's just going to get worse. Like, even just seeing myself on the screen here, like, it's hard, And, um,
And I don't know about you, but I'm guessing because I know what you do for a living. We spend a lot of time on screens and these
yes,
kinds of things, and you're like, "This is how I look." Okay, well, I guess this is what I look like today. I was like, "Oh, I look like I'm tired."
exactly. And it's like, oh, there's a wrinkle and there's a wrinkle. And, oh my
Or
God,
sometimes I just put my glasses on because I look better with them on because you can't see the bags under my eyes.
I look tired a lot. So it's been sort of it's definitely, like I said at the beginning, is like this side of 50 has been really tough for me. When I talk to people who feel differently and they're like, oh my God, I love it. 50s are the best. I'm like, who are you? Number one. Number two, I'm also really working on trying to like be nicer to myself. I'm trying to be nicer, be kinder, all of those things. I would never think these things about someone else,
Right.
and I recognize that. And so I'm recognizing it for what it is. I'm also recognizing how important it is to like be more positive and like knowing that I do need to get to the place of like, okay, like this is aging. Like I'm lucky for another day,
Right.
I'm
Yes, I'm
lucky
lucky I
for
get
another.
to age, right? Yeah.
And I talk to people who have had, cancer and other diseases, and they're like, oh my God, I'm super happy. Like, I'm just happy. I never thought I was going to make it to 50. I'm so, you know what I mean? So it's like different people's experiences. And there's a song by Rob Thomas that I love him in Matchbox 20. And my sister called out this song and it says something about um, being okay with aging because the more you age is a, a day away from dying young.
Mm.
So, right, every day that you age, you're a day like even further away from dying young. And I was like, that's the way we need, I am losing people around me all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm also recognizing like I should not be in this like frame of mind just so self-obsessed with my belly fat because frankly, aside all
No
of
one cares about it but you, right?
exactly. And I'm healthy and I am literally losing people all the time these days. And I'm really trying to get to a place where I'm sort of in acceptance with the menopause journey and recognizing that like there is another side from what I understand. Like you can get through it.
And then you
It
give less F's, right?
is It is easier with the help of hormones if you can, hormone replacement therapy, if you can take it, right? Um, and so that's, I think, like my advice to anyone would just be like stay on top of it and start early,
Yeah.
right? When you start having symptoms, like rather than sort of waiting until you're miserable, there are things that you can do to kind of stay ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah. And I think to your point, like talk to your younger friends, right? Like let them know it's like, hey, listen, I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you know because like I kind of feel like it's like, oh, I'm let me be like your older sister who's not telling you these things.
Well, and I recognize too, like when you're not there, you don't like as much as I mean, when we were younger, people probably said that to us all the time. Oh my God, I appreciate where you're at. You're so young, and you're like rolling your eyes at them.
Right.
Guarantee you that's what they're doing to me. And just to be clear, I am complaining. I am complaining when I'm talking. These are like my closest friends, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what's going on with
Yeah.
me. So, um, but I'm trying to like, I'm definitely, outside of all of that and recognizing where I'm at, I am trying to be in gratitude for the things that I do have, which is a lot of lovely and wonderful things, and including my overall health, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, like you said, it's like, oh, I get to live another day, right? Like I do like I'm part of my like gratitude practice because I have a daily gratitude practice is like thank you for my health, like thank you for waking up today. Like, because those are two things that even if I like, 'cause I've had a migraine the last couple of days, it's like even if I wake up with migraine, I still woke up and yes, thank you for my health. So because it could be worse. So
Yes,
uh,
always.
but anyway, so thank you so much. I appreciate your honesty and just like, hey, this is how it is. And, this is my whole purpose in doing these things is just to like bring that awareness to people and just real stories from real people about what is going on with our bodies and what do I wish I knew, right?
Right.
I
I
feel
can,
like
I
I'm
think,
doing this for my younger self, even though that person can't watch it.
yeah, but I think it's a great idea because like one of the biggest complaints has been like, nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
And then now we're finally talking about it.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
having
what
a
you're
moment
doing.
for
Is You're
sure.
making it so you're making it okay. It's okay to be. I'm always asking like, is it hot in here or is it just me?
Right.
Like, you know what it means if it's not hot in here?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and the fact that you can have those honest conversations more broadly now is really important and you're normalizing it, right? So that's
Yeah,
great.
I'm
Thank
trying.
you for doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah, thank you. So thank you for watching, listening. So please feel free to comment. Please share this out. That's like my biggest thing is like I want more people to be able to see this. If you're interested in being a guest, feel free to reach out to me. I'm excited to talk to you. Definitely, everybody. To me, everybody has a story, so I want to hear those stories. But otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next time.